There is one question that follows One Piece everywhere. How do you even begin a story this big? For more than 2 decades, this adventure has crossed oceans, generations, and thousands of unforgettable moments. And if you have never watched it before, the size alone can feel intimidating. But maybe that is exactly why now is such an interesting time to start. So before we chase mysteries or the final treasure, we are going back to the beginning. Welcome aboard. This is Road to the One Piece. The first obstacle is obvious. One Piece looks enormous. There are more than 1,000 anime episodes. The manga began all the way back in 1997, and the story has been growing for decades. For a new viewer, those numbers can make the series feel less like an adventure and more like homework. You might think, how could I possibly catch up? But that is the wrong question. You do not need to catch up today. You do not need to know every character or every mystery. Nobody starts One Piece by watching 1,000 episodes. Everyone starts with episode 1. And episode 1 begins with something wonderfully simple. A young pirate named Monkey D. Luffy has a dream. He wants to find the legendary treasure known as the One Piece and become the king of the pirates. Luffy does not begin with a legendary crew, a powerful fleet, or a map showing him exactly where to go. He begins with determination, an extraordinary love of freedom, and a straw hat carrying a promise from his childhood. From that small beginning, an enormous journey starts to unfold. But One Piece does not become special simply because Luffy is searching for treasure. As he travels, people begin joining him. Each of them carries a dream, a past, and a reason to keep moving forward. Gradually, the crew becomes more than a collection of pirates. They become a family. That is why the heart of One Piece is much larger than battles. It is about dreams that seem impossible. It is about friendship strong enough to survive fear and loss. It is about freedom and what people are willing to sacrifice for it. And beneath all of that is mystery, strange powers, hidden truths, and a world that becomes more complicated with every new island. The treasure may be the destination, but the journey is what makes us care about reaching it. And that journey really has been long. Eiichiro Oda's manga began in 1997. The television anime followed in 1999. More than a quarter of a century later, the adventure is still moving forward. That history can look intimidating from the outside, but it also tells us why people stay. The world keeps opening up. Characters can return years later. Tiny clues can suddenly become important. An island that seemed temporary can change how we understand everything that follows. So do not look at those decades and ask, how do I finish all of this? Ask something much easier. Do I want to begin? And if the answer is yes, start small. You do not have to cross the whole ocean today. Watch the beginning. Meet Luffy. Meet the first people who enter his journey. See how the world feels. Then watch one more adventure if you want to. Do not treat One Piece like a task that must be completed as quickly as possible. The point is not to race toward the latest episode. The point is to experience the voyage. And if the story connects with you, something funny happens. The huge episode count stops looking like a problem. It starts looking like more time in a world you have grown to love. There is also a practical reason why 2026 is such an interesting year to begin. The original anime is still moving forward. The television series entered the Elbaf arc in April 2026, taking viewers to a place fans had waited years to see. So One Piece is not simply an old classic that people discuss from memory. The conversation is happening right now. Longtime fans are still watching new episodes, revisiting clues, debating mysteries, and wondering what the final stages of this enormous story will reveal. You may begin far behind the current anime, but you are beginning while the adventure is still alive. The second reason is the live-action series. Netflix's One Piece has introduced Luffy and the Straw Hats to viewers who might never have started with the manga or anime. Season 2, Into the Grand Line, arrived in March 2026, and the live-action journey is continuing, with Season 3, The Battle of Alabasta, coming in 2027. That gives this universe another doorway. Some viewers will begin with Netflix, become curious about the original story, and discover how much larger the world really is. Others may simply enjoy experiencing two different versions of the same adventure. And then there is a third reason, especially interesting for anyone frightened by the size of the original anime. One Piece is about to begin again. A new animated adaptation called The One Piece is being produced by WIT Studio. It returns to the East Blue Saga and Luffy's earliest adventures with a new production and a fresh visual approach. Netflix has announced it for February 2027. This does not replace the original anime. It creates another way to enter the story. So a newcomer has choices: the manga, the long-running anime, the live-action series, or this new animated adaptation. For a story famous for being difficult to start, there may never have been more ways to step aboard. So with all of those choices, where are we going to begin? At the beginning. Not because we need to summarize every episode one by one. We do not. Instead, we are going to build the world piece by piece. Before we talk about the biggest mysteries, we need to understand the dream that started everything. Before emperors, legendary battles, and hidden history, there was simply a boy in a straw hat who decided to sail away. That beginning is the foundation for everything that comes later. And that is what Road to the One Piece will be. One journey, one episode at a time. We will explore the world itself, the seas, the strange geography, and the Grand Line. We will meet the Straw Hat Pirates and understand not only what they can do, but what each of them dreams of achieving. We will look at devil fruits and later hockey. We will revisit the great story arcs, legendary pirates, the world government, and the mysteries that have kept fans debating for years. But we will also be careful with spoilers. If you are completely new to One Piece, the main journey will not casually destroy the biggest surprises ahead. And when we eventually discuss current events or theories, the spoiler warning will be clear. This series is not about rushing to the destination. It is about enjoying the voyage. So if you have spent years looking at One Piece and saying, maybe someday, perhaps someday, is finally here. You are not supposed to experience decades of adventure in a weekend. You only have to take the first step. And from there, we will sail forward together. Next Wednesday, we begin with the world itself, the seas, the Grand Line, and the strange geography that shapes the adventures ahead. After that, we will meet the crew, explore the powers, revisit the great arcs, and slowly move deeper into the mysteries surrounding the treasure at the end of the story. There's a very long road ahead of us, and that is exactly what makes this exciting. The sea is still waiting, the treasure is still out there, and our journey is only beginning. Welcome aboard. This is Road to the One Piece.